Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to another episode of Ranking Doctor Who. This time we are going to be talking about the Doctor Who logos. Because at this point there's been quite a few, haven't there? Usually when a new Doctor or a new showrunner comes in, we will get a total sort of redesign and rebrand of Doctor Who. But, in my opinion, what are my least favourite and my favourites? But before we get into this video guys, I'm aiming for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy the content and you haven't already subscribed, then why not do it? It's just down there and it's free and it'd help me out and I'd appreciate you. Anyway, back to the video. As always with a video like this is just my personal opinion. If you happen to disagree, then oh well. Like, it's just my opinion. I'm not trying to change your mind. Just let me know what you think in the comments below. So starting off then, we'll go from worst to best. And I'm going to go, I know they're not exactly the same, and I think that's going to be a similar sort of case throughout the rest of the video, by the way. I know some of these logos aren't going to be exactly the same, but they're not different enough to warrant me putting them in separate places because they're more or less the same. Does that make sense? So in that case, the first and second Doctors. Now again, I know that they are pretty different, however, I'm going to put them in the bottom two places either way, so I'm just going to talk about them both now. The problem that I have with these two, it's not even necessarily a problem, it just looks like typed font. That's it. In my opinion, this doesn't really look like a logo. Maybe William Hartnell's more so. So if I had to do the two, then it would probably be Troughton and then Hartnell. But for me, I'm just not a massive fan of him. When I think of Doctor Who, that isn't what springs to mind in terms of like the logo itself or the font. Like, this just doesn't spring to mind for me. Next up, we're going to go with Sylvester McCoy's logo, the 7th Doctor's. Now, thing is for me, this looks like kind of the opposite of the previous two. This just looks like it's over-designed. It also, again, similar to the 60s ones, looks very much like a product of its time. It's very 1980s, and it's clear that with the title sequence being all in CGI, with the logo a similar sort of thing, the way that it appears in the actual sequence is very good. It's just the logo itself, it looks like it's two separate logos put together. The actual Who is pretty good, but the Doctor bit, nah, it doesn't go together, and I just don't like it, really. Then we're going to go to the current logo, the 13th Doctor's. The problem that I have with this logo, and this is a bugbearer that I have for multiple different logos and probably future logos as well, this logo annoys me now, and the only reason why, people are going to go, oh, it's because you hate the Chibnall era, oh, it's because you hate Jodie Whittaker. No, it's because this logo appears on merchandise that it has no fucking business appearing on. And the thing is, that isn't necessarily this logo's fault. That's just because this is the current logo, but because I see it everywhere and I see it on the Blu-ray releases, or because I see it on even Target novels now, I'm like, this doesn't fit in with the rest of them. This is really fucking irritating. The logo itself is fine. I wouldn't say that it's the worst, I wouldn't say that it's the best, it's just sort of middle of the road, but I'm just sick of seeing it everywhere now. But then again, I could have said that a couple of years ago with the other logos, so it is what it is. But I guess for me, it's because they've added this logo onto products that already had a separate logo that does my head in. But it does my head in general. Either way, it's just a meh logo. That's all. It's going to be the 9th Doctor's and the 10th Doctor's up next. Again, I know that they're not the same, and I know that there are differences with the whole sort of oval diamond type thing. This logo is fine. This is kind of my first one, so this is the one that I was the most familiar with as a kid. I actually like the font of Doctor Who itself. The oval thing though, as the years have gone by, I sort of look back and think, it's alright. Again, it feels very much like a product of its time. Dare I say slightly over-designed? I don't know. I do like the way that it sort of spins in the title sequence, but I guess for me, because I do the thumbnails now where it's representing each Doctor's era, with the other logos I could just slot them in and it felt natural and it felt right because they were just font, or with the diamond logo that literally just slots in like that. With this logo though, because it's that oval, it's quite awkward to edit into the style that I wanted to. And again, that's just for me personally talking about making my own thumbnails, but in general, I don't know, it just looks off when you put it on other things. When it's in the title sequence, it's not that bad. And on the DVDs to a certain extent, it's not that bad because it's right at the top. But when you're putting it on stuff like toys, on birthday cakes, on books even, sometimes it looks a bit weird. So yeah, the font itself I quite like, but the whole oval thing, I'm not massively keen on. Next up, we are going to go with the 1980s logos. Now, obviously not the Sylvester McCoy one, but I'm talking about the one from Tom Baker and Peter Davison, and I'll also include Collins in this as well. I know it's slightly different, but it's more or less the same. I quite like the tubing effect, but it is very 1980s. But then again, not as offensive as the McCoy logo, in my opinion. It's a bit different and it's a bit unique, and it does feel very sci-fi. Would I say that this is like the best logo ever? No, but it does its job. It does feel like it is Doctor Who-y and science fiction-y. Again, just sort of middle of the road. I wouldn't say it's anything impressive or anything special, it just is what it is. I believe there's only about 3 left, or at least by my metric there is. Next, we are going to go to the 11th and 12th Doctors. Again, I know there's minor differences here and there, but overall it is more or less the same. Now, I remember at the time, a lot of people really didn't like the DW in the middle in the shape of the TARDIS. For me personally, I can understand why people didn't like that. However, I actually do. I also really like the font of this one. It does look like a logo, it looks like a brand, and I also really like the fact that, not entirely, but it does somewhat remind me a little bit of the 3rd Doctor / the 8th Doctor one / the one that's pretty much across the board on classic series merchandise. It isn't an exact replica, obviously, but it has got a hint of it that I quite like. I also like the fact that this logo did evolve over time. They did drop the DW and they did sort of move it about a bit as well, so it wasn't just Dr. DW Who, which I guess is where people had their frustrations, which I can understand. But I also like the fact that in the title sequence it spins away into the TARDIS. I think that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, it's just a good solid logo and I really like it. Second place, the diamond. This is just an icon of Doctor Who. Like, it's literally this one and the one that I'm going to talk about, which you already know at this point probably. The diamond logo is one of my favourite logos, easily. Not just because it's pretty much throughout the entirety of the Tom Baker era, but just because it looks good, and I also like the fact that this logo has, not to the same extent as the one I'm about to talk about, but it has stuck around a bit as well. You do see this on merchandise. I also like the fact that in the original show it was just like a solid blue colour, whereas now I see it where people have changed the colours and it's got like a bit of yellow and red in there as well. Again, it is a product of its time, but I wouldn't say that it's glued to that time period, if that makes sense. When you look at something like Sylvester McCoy's logo, that's very much of its time, whereas with the diamond, it's very 1970s, but it's also timeless as well, which again kind of represents Doctor Who. And then of course, it's got to be the Pertwee logo / the Paul McGann logo / the DVD logo. Like, it's on fucking everything. This is my favourite logo. This, to me, when I think of Doctor Who and I think of the brand, this is the logo that pops into my head. Now, is that because it is all over the DVDs, not just because it is in Pertwee's title sequence and also in Paul McGann's? Is it because I see it everywhere? Possibly. You know, this isn't just the DVD logo. Of course, this has been on like the Blu-rays as well, but it's also been on like the Target novels. Hence why I got annoyed with Jodie's logo when they added that onto it, because I'm like, you've done so many with this logo, just fucking stick with it at this point, please. My OCD can't cope. But no, this for me is the Doctor Who logo. Like, what is it? Even the Corgi little action figures, the Blackpool Museum, the actual, like the classic series action figures, I'm pretty sure they have this as well. This just is the Doctor Who logo. There's no other way for me to describe it. I know I'm sort of saying similar sort of things, but how else do you describe it? Like, I don't think there is another one. I like the fact that it does look like, you know, just a normal bit of font, but it's a bit weird, you know, like the curve in the H. I don't know, it's just like the subtle things about it that make it normal, but a bit weird. And I just really, really like it. Plus, it looks great however style you want to give it. Obviously, in the Pertwee era, it was like a teal colour, I think. And then, like, with the Paul McGann movie, it's in, like, the blue. You've seen it in the black or almost charcoal-y colour on the DVDs. Like, it looks great whatever style you put it in. Ultimate logo for me, that is it, essentially, I think. I don't really know what else to say. I'm pretty sure that's more or less all the logos. So if I've missed any out, I do apologise. But if I've forgotten about them, that means I probably don't like them that much. In the comments below though, guys, let me know what you think. What is your favourite Doctor Who logo? And to you, what is the Doctor Who logo. Whatever it is, let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description as always. So if you'd follow me on any of those things, I'd absolutely love you forever. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye. I believe there's only about 3 left, or at least by my metric there is. Oh no, shit, I've totally missed one off. Wow, what a wanker.